I'm not prepared for this video, but just thought I would record the moment. Now, I don't like apps. Lots of people know that I don't like apps. The reason why I don't like apps is a lot of spooky stuff comes up on apps, and we don't know what the banks are. But according to Annabella Cardoso, that background audio support can help EVPs. And her meaning of background audio support is a light static noise from a radio, noise from a fan, that kind of thing. Now, if that works, then technically apps should work. The thing is, 9 times out of 10, I think, you can't find out what's on the app, the banks of sound on the app, until they malfunction, which I have seen on a couple of people's videos where there was a documentary about the paranormal in those apps. So what I done today, because I feck all else to do, well, I have lots to do, but I thought I would start working into this, because I said I was going to do it for a long time, but I thought I would make my own MP3 app, or well, it's a raw file app, but it's my banks of sound. So what would I put in those banks of sound? If the spirit box works, if the human voice is the right frequencies for spirits to use, then I says I'll use human voice. But the thing is, to eliminate pareidolia, I'm going to use French. I'm actually going to put the flipping video in the description, right? If you're not French, you're not going to understand it, but you are going to hear the audio, and you'll hear the tone of the audio. The thing is, I flipped it because there's possibility that some words in French may be the same as the English words. So I just flipped the interview around. It was about a 2-hour video, but I only took 1 hour of the video. That's all I needed, right? And I didn't repeat. I didn't put it around in a loop. It's just a long file, and that 1 hour audio thing that I made. Right, along with the human voice, which is in French, a French conversation, which is flipped backwards, and then separated for 15 seconds, sort of, so that if you wanted to talk, you got time to talk. The second bank, which is playing alongside it, is a crackling wood fire sound. And the third bank is a thunderstorm, right? Now, I'm not very good at computers, so I recorded. I got up the storm sound on the computer on YouTube, recorded it with this, which is a very good quality recorder, right? Done the same thing with both the sound of the fire crackling sound and the interview, which was The Believers. Sandy Lactar's in it. She would have been, if you are a fan of Ghost Adventures, the Paris Catacombs, the woman that was in that. That is who's speaking mostly on this. There was an interviewer, a lady interviewer, then there was Sandy, and then there was her boyfriend Jonathan, all speaking French, and it's flipped around and that. So I put all them 3 layers of audio on top of each other. So, and the interview is flipped around and then it's gapped. So you have time to talk. You know, say if you wanted to ask a question, I've left them spaces of about 15 seconds. But even in between those 15 seconds, you'll still hear the fire crackling and the storm, the thunder and lightning and stuff. Now, because I don't know how to screen record or anything, that everything was done separately. There's separate files on all of those 3. I put it on the computer. It didn't give me an option for MP3, so I didn't want it MP3. I wanted to record it raw. So I played it on the computer and then I recorded it on this. So I recorded it raw into an SD card. Then the SD card went into this little box so I can play it like a little app box kind of thing. Thing is, no English words, nothing but myself and the dog, and while doing this I was almost at times going like that I wouldn't make noise. Yes, the word help came up on this, which seems to be a different tone to anybody that was actually talking backwards on this. So that kind of ruined my app bank. It kind of ruined it because help came up on it. But where did it come from? So I go back to the computer. There's 3 separate audio files. I go through the 3 separate audio files and they're not on it. It's not on it. Which means whatever happened when I was recording the 3 audio files playing together. But I wasn't working with English language, which is kind of odd. I've gone back on this to where this happens. So I'm going to play this now. Hopefully I've gone back far enough. Right, play.
Alors, visst här precisionata di nu fara vetrotse Något nog skissligt så visst j'ai de passer ça visst j'ai un programme mais ich bin figure tout ça ja und mal aujourd'hui mal finissé aïe ich mal effectivement ça va me dire ça puis je dis non je ça là je vais
There it is. Sandy is speaking. Again, I'm going to put the video where I got the audio from in the description. And if you have a way of getting that off, recording it, putting it backwards, you'll get the sound that I recorded here, except where I gapped it. So I'm going to go back another little bit here.
Ich muss euch nicht nicht schnell noch ein bisschen noch was gesagt ich muss noch lesen wo sie mit der Situation gesehen groß nach ich trage das ist bisschen noch nicht geben noch nicht fertig ich war ich alors visst här precisionata di nu fara vetrotse något nog skissligt så visst j'ai de passer ça visst j'ai un programme mais ich bin figure tout ça ja und mal aujourd'hui mal finissé aïe visst mal effectivement ça va me dire ça puis je dis non je ça là je vais
It seems to be off. it seems to be after the clip was cut, and a different sort of voice. It's kind of weird. If you Google the word for help in French, it is adieu, and adieu moi is help me. But that's not going to be any good to you, because the interview that I recorded, I flipped it. So that doesn't make any sense. So the reason why I Googled that was the possibility that some French are the same as English. But the thing is, that word help seems to be a different tone than the person that's speaking on the app, and it doesn't seem to be inside her piece of segment. It seems to just come off the end of the segment of the voice bank. But you're going to have to take my word for it. I went through there's 3 different banks. Human speech, which is gapped 15 seconds, so that you can ask questions, and then you get some human speech backwards and in French. Another bank, which is a crackling fire sound, and then the third bank is thunder sound. And then they were all recorded together on this into one file of jumble. The reason why I used a different language, and in this case it was French, is because here in Ireland we deal with English language. So we ask questions in the English language, and if we're going to get a response, we're expecting that response to be in the English language. Now, if you're using audio that's French and you get an English response, that's pretty good, like. So yeah, that's why I specifically did not want to use the English language in this case, because there's a lot of apps out there. They're in the English language, but they're talking about ghosts and the paranormal and, that kind of thing. Some of these banks. Now, this interview was an interview about the Believers, which is a paranormal investigating team, Sandy Lactar and Jonathan, but it's in French and it's backwards. So that's why I used a different language. And thing is, I could trace it. It happened somewhere along when I was recording the 3 files together to make the file for this, because I went through the files separately and it wasn't on there. Kind of weird, not making a massive song and dance about it, because if that is an EVP, whoever said the EVP, that's the one that gets the glory here, not me. When you think about it, I have some Spirit Box sessions there and they've only got 50 views. I'm not making a big song and dance about it, but I wanted to share it with you because, people that listen or watch me are into the paranormal. But the thing about it is, I can tell you all this, and I could be pulling your leg. I mean, the paranormal is full of people looking for glory, and they want to be Mr. or Mrs. Paranormal and all the rest of it. I'm just telling you the way it is. I'm just telling you exactly the way it is. Let's play it again. Did I go back far enough?
Ich bin nicht azar, اشتغل ما بيصنعوا بس اكسبني بس ما كده زي فوش سيمي دي سياسة كسيم
Großnau ist praktisch bis wirklich glühen nicht der ich weiß
There's a gap where you can speak.
جاو الصوت فرامي يبغي من
alors ich habe presque bien en train de nous faire un pétentiel, nous faire un pétentiel. Je não preciso nem saber se já não fazer saber se já maar meer ik ben figuur dus ja maar alors je suis mal fnesse ich mal was ich non ça va me dire ça puis je dis non je ressemble à une fille.
It's a completely different tone. That's quite strange. But whoever said that ruined my file. I have to go into the computer now, take this out, put it in the computer, and take that piece out. But how did it flipping get there? Do you know? This is why I specifically wanted to explore the possibility that apps work, but I wanted to do it my way, because I can't just, put an app on your phone and doing some sessions and stuff and possibly getting responses to your questions. That's all flipping well and good, but you don't get access to the files, the raw files, and that's why I done this. Do you know? And it's my first time doing this, and this happened, so it's weird. That's, I got really excited when I heard that, and I can't sort of explain it, because, it couldn't have been me polluting the audio, because I'm just here with my dog. I just wanted to add that I am living in an apartment. There is somebody that lives downstairs with some kids and that. But in all the time that I've been here, which is a couple of years now, I've never heard them speaking. So the insulation is pretty good. And I was extra cautious when I moved in here, and I floored my hallway with playground rubber about a 1/4 of an inch thick with air bubbles in it, so that I would have as less audio coming through, less noise as possible, because I've had problems with noisy neighbours before. But all you can do is take my word for it, and I just want to be honest with you, I'm puzzled, folks. I'm puzzled. And I specifically sat here really quiet. Do you know? Can people be heard from the street outside? No. You can hear a little bit of traffic, very low, but not enough to hear a person talking, unless they were really screaming, and you barely even hear them screaming and that. But that doesn't sound like from anybody outside, But I just thought I would share that, because I can't explain this one. Do you know? But yeah, that was. I just thought I would share this, because I'm scratching my head. Do you know? I went through all 3 files that are recorded using that, and I recorded them as raw files. So if there was anything, there was a possibility that maybe an EVP we use EVPs we use voice recorders for EVPs. There was a possibility that an EVP could have been picked up on that while I was recording one of those 3 files. But it didn't happen there. It happened after it. I played the 3 files together on the computer and put my recorder down in front of me and recorded what was playing on the computer, which was French language backways and the storm and the fire crackling all together in one sound. So I'd have one single file, but I have the 3 separate files on the computer, just in case, do you know? So that's why I wanted to. That's the way I wanted to look into apps. Have separate files. Have files yourself. The only thing is, if you're doing this and you're using it, you have to be trustworthy, because there's a way. It's not that hard to put in your own little whispers and little, things like that. But I'm just telling you, I'm 100% honest. The reason why I'm doing the video is I'm documenting for myself because I'm flipping excited. Do you know? I can't explain that one. It's been a boring day sitting here recording stuff, and didn't even have time to eat. I just sat down and started on this, and wasn't expecting that. The EVP is a bit of a pain in the ass, actually, because I have to take out the file now and take out that little piece, do you know? Otherwise, every time I played if I want to do a session or whatever, I want to do a recording session, that help that came up on it, it's going to come up each time. So I have to take that file out, find that EVP or whatever it is. I'm not saying spur communication, but it's kind of odd to me, and the sound of it is kind of strange, because that doesn't sound like Sandy Lactar to me. Folks, I'm going to say au revoir, or whatever the flip it is in French, and I'll see you in the next one.